Well, hello, Noir Nation. It's been a whole week since you kicked it with your favorite country girl. Man, I have missed y'all so much. I be having so much I want to talk to y'all about, and waiting is like, ugh. But we're here now, and to my new attendees at the Nation of Mayhem, what's up, shouted? I'm Renee Davis, your hostess with the mostest, and if I can say so myself, this podcast is a good look for you if I do say so myself. And to my main apple scrappers that show up week in and week out, you know it's nothing but soul, peace, and hair grease to my day ones and day twos and day threes, honey. No matter when you got down with the mayhem, we damn glad to have you. I told y'all last week that this thing is spicy like gumbo. And every week you get a little taste of something different. Well, this week I got to thinking. And when I get to thinking, sometimes some great shit happens, like this podcast, for instance, right? Well, you know how sometimes there's just not a lot of background information on our mayhem makers. Well, I've got a shitload of stories that saying no background information is kind of like an understatement. There is barely information on the crimes or the goddamn outcomes. I mean, I swear sometimes I feel like an archaeologist or something. The way I have to dig and search for clues on what had happened was and who the fuck was done and what was done about it, right? How can you be suspected of killing a soccer team of motherfuckers and ain't no information about it? Like, where they do that at? In a miracle. And oh yeah, I forgot, the perpetrators are black, so they be moving right on along. Ain't nothing to see here. But as I was saying, it got me to thinking, why should I skip over their stories just because I can't tell you who they mama name was, or who they went to school with, or what they majored in, or what their girlfriend name was? I mean, I love to give you all the full meal deal, but sometimes you can get away with a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? You know, having a little something that won't have you completely full, but you damn sure won't be hungry because it had a good little piece of meat on it, right? I love giving y'all the whole pie, but sometimes a 1-calorie slice is all you need. So this week, I'm gonna tell you the tale of a mayhem maker, but we're gonna get right down to the business. No foreplay, just a quickie. Y'all down? And if he wasn't banned, you know, I probably would put a little R. Kelly and Biggie Smalls right here in the background. One of them. You must be used to me spending and all that sweet whining and dining. Well, I'm fucking you tonight. And another one. Damn, all of them banned. That was Puffy and that too. Okay, we definitely can't put that shit in here. No love making, strictly backbreaking, honey, because it's going down. And I think for some of y'all, you know, not getting in your business or nothing, but y'all probably could use a little bit of that backbreaking in real life. That's my prayer for you for the rest of 2024 and all of 2025, that you get all the backbreaking you can desire, honey. But you know what? That's another podcast. My mission is to bring you the tea, and God damn it, that's just what I'm gonna do. Because this is the Melanin Mayhem podcast, baby. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of professions. The world's oldest is prostitution, and a slightly younger one, the movement of goods, also known as truck driving. I've said it before, and I will say it again, that honey, coochie sells when cotton and corn don't, honey. Don't get it twisted. We live in a world that's based on supply and demand, and these men folks have always had a demand for that box or some of that good old sloppy toppy. And as such, there has always been an enterprising woman ready to supply the goodies for a price. Now look, we aren't going to delve into those that are in the trade involuntarily, because we know that there are scores of women and men that are forced into this life. No. We're not going to discuss those unfortunate souls this week. No, this week we're going to talk about the sisters that for whatever reason sell that thing because they want to. Is it a choice that you or I would have made? Probably not if there are other job options to choose from. But come on, y'all, let's keep it real here. We grown folks, right? Think about it. At some point in time into all of our lives, there has probably been a situation or an opportunity to make a little piece of change doing something strange. And shit, it may not have been that strange if you know what I'm saying. Come on now, we being real, right? As women, come on now, we can and we do dress that thing up to sound like anything other than prostitution. But at a fundamental level, prostitution by definition is the exchange of sexual goods and or services for something, right? And that something can be money, it can be drugs, it can be shelter, it could be whatever you want it to be. It's basically I'm gonna give you this, and in return, you gonna give me that. And if the this happens to be some oral, vaginal, or anal, that's prostitution. But y'all know as humans, we like to draw lines in the sand. We like to paint them pictures that put shit in a different light, right? It ain't prostitution when you got an old sugar daddy, right? He just my sugar daddy. That ain't prostitute. It ain't really prostitution, right, if you just a side piece, right? It ain't prostitution. Or, in the words of Lil Wayne, it ain't tricking if you got it. Well, the victims in today's tale of mayhem were women that were labeled as prostitutes. They worked in what I found out to be a truck stop circuit, meaning that they would go to different truck stops and sell their box. Like, if you think about it, they were the original traveling saleswomen. Yeah. But baby, let me tell y'all, when I say that the shit I have learned this week about truckers and their ways, oh my Lord. Like I went down a serious rabbit hole and even called up a few truck drivers that I know to get some background information and confirmation on some of this shit that I was reading. Like, I know that coochie is bought and sold in all kinds of ways, but I never knew that the goddamn CB radio was not only used to just talk that shit while you riding down the interstate, it's also used to buy all kinds of shit up to and including cootie cat. Y'all, motherfuckers will get on that CB radio and they'll say something slick in code, kind of like how these children do on social media, and boom, pussy purchases procured. So it goes a little something like this. Your boy the trucker get on the mic and he say that he looking for some commercial company. Lord have mercy, that's the shit that took me out. Commercial company? Sir, the fuck is commercial company? But somebody know what it is because somebody will respond on the CB, whether it's a pimp or independent contractor, and a time and a place is set. Done deal. And I also found that there are some truckers that don't really fuck with that CB radio like that, but they still partake in the truck stop box, right? They just order their shit curbside. Curbside, Nate? They order it curbside. Say they would either send out a cat signal, not the bat signal, but the cat signal. They blink their headlights. They let them know I want some service over here. Or they hang a rag out they window, and that's the signal that it's down to do the damn thing. And they just wait for the supplier of the cat to come up and knock on their window. Now, that's not the only way that sex is procured because there is such a thing as the internet, and we all know what goes down on there. But some of these women out there are independent contractors. They are just hanging out at the truck stop because they know, like Shawty Low said, they know. But the shit that almost took me to the king, y'all, I found out what the truckers call these women that hang around the truck stop looking for dick. They call these women affectionately, I'm gonna say, lot lizards. You heard me. I said lot lizards. Now pause for a minute, because let me tell you something. I will fight a bitch all day long for calling me a lot lizard. That just sounds so disrespectful. You're not gonna call me a lot lizard. Baby, I'm a truck stop treat. I'm a lot lynx. You know, something like that. How about this? A trucker fucker. Shit, make my shit sound exotic. A lizard just don't evoke the warm and fuzzies in me. And I guess I'm probably just splitting hairs and shit, but at least make me feel like you respect me a little bit. Calling me a lot lizard. But I'm gonna tell y'all, honey, if you really want to have a good laugh, y'all need to go to Facebook or Twitter and look up the term lot lizard and see the videos, honey. It's a whole subculture out there. And I have laughed and I have also clutched my pearls because I was like, woo, ma'am, sir. Where is my blessed oil? Y'all need a blessing or something out here. Jesus, I got to anoint my phone after looking at this shit. So this week, since I don't have background information, we're going to jump right to the meat of this thing and we're going to start you off with some of the crimes that our Melanin Mayhem maker is suspected of. Marsha Matthews was found dumped and beaten to sleep on Highway I-71 near Mansfield, Ohio at 5:30 in the morning on June 12, 1985. She was a 25-year-old sex worker. And like when I say dumped, I'm talking she was half in the damn road and half on the goddamn median, right? Like it looked like somebody opened their door and just shoved her out without stopping about a mile away from the Union 76 truck stop in Austintown, Ohio. Now, when they found Marsha, she was barely hanging on. Like, Sister Girl was standing in the light, honey. She was on her way to the upper room. Somebody had taken something and beat her face repeatedly like she was unrecognizable, but she had a little pulse. So they got her to the hospital and they tried, but it was just too late. She died from her beatdown 2 hours after she had gotten to the hospital. But y'all know the drill. Because of her profession, the authorities assumed that it was just occupational hazards of the job and they just kept that thing moving. It never crossed their minds that they might have a serial killer using the interstate as his motherfucking hunting ground. On July 20th, 1986, in Medina County, Ohio, a motherfucker had to pee. And you know, when you drive trucks, you can't just pull over anywhere. But when the feeling hits you at a certain age, you got to stop that motherfucking truck and do what you got to do. And so this particular trucker, he was on Interstate I-71 and he knew that there was a rest stop a little ways up the road. It was closed, but dude was like, fuck it, I got to go. And so he did. In his mind, he thought that he was just going to pee and hit the road again. And that was the plan. Until he saw 23-year-old Shirley Dean Taylor dumped beside one of those concrete barrier things that they use to merge traffic. Shirley, all she had on was a black camisole and she was dead as fuck. She too had been beaten in the face, something terrible. And around her throat, you could see a thin line like something had been used to strangle her. Shirley too was a sex worker, and the last time anybody could remember seeing her was at the Union 76 truck stop in Austintown, Ohio. Some of her co-workers said she had been talking on the CB radio with some dude named Dr. No. And that really wasn't no lead because come to find out, truckers use all kind of handles on that radio. So it's a whole bunch of Dr. No's and Dr. Yeses and Dr. Feelgoods. So that really ain't a lead for the police to run down. So once again, dead end, we're not going to look into this too much. On December 4th, 1986, another trucker, this time pulling into a rest stop on I-71. Now he is driving along, preparing to pull off the interstate, and his eyes just land on something that don't seem quite right. He don't know what it is, but something in his peripheral caused an alarm to go off. So he just staring and he driving and he staring. And he pull over, cause like, what the fuck? What the fuck is, it's a body. 18-year-old April Barnett, man, this old April like to talk that shit on the CB radio, honey. She went by the name of Tongue Teaser. Guess she ran up on the wrong motherfucker because our trucker finds her laying in the grass, naked as a jaybird. Tongue Teaser ain't saying shit no more to nobody but Jesus. Honey. Now, the Ashland County, Ohio Sheriff's Department, they come out and they do their Sheriff Department shit. They start looking for her clothes because she naked, right? Her clothes got to be around here somewhere. Y'all tell me why they found her clothes one piece at a time along the interstate in a 70 motherfucking mile stretch. Like this person was just driving along, roll the window down, throw out a piece of clothing, roll the window back up, drive some more, roll the window down, toss out a piece of clothing for 70 miles. That's crazy. And I bet you can't guess where April worked out of. Her preferred truck stop was the Union 76 truck stop in Austintown, Ohio. Now, you don't never know what makes a person make the decision to get into the sex worker trade. We are not here to judge. Everybody's got their own reasons for doing what the fuck they do. Y'all know, shit happens. And again, as long as it's a voluntary choice, I ain't got no problem with it. Well, in mid-1986, 28-year-old Jill Allen made the choice to get her stroll on, and she popped up on the scene at the truck stops in Illinois. She got popped a couple of times for solicitation, but it wasn't nothing that didn't keep her from getting back out there on the scene. And you know, she's a new face, so she was in demand, popping up everywhere. Well, on December 18th, 1986, old Jill popped up in a body bag. Y'all kind of starting to see something that resembles a pattern here? You see, Jill is found on the interstate. This time, she was on the eastbound ramp of I-70. Somebody had strangled her. You could see a thin white line going around her neck. And just like the other women, no clothes. It's cold as fucking Illinois, but she didn't have a coat or nothing with her. And when they found her, she had only been dead for a couple of hours. So that mean that nigga had been right there not too long ago. But the slippery bastard got away with his bullshit. But I'ma tell y'all why the police might not have seen a pattern. Somebody else did. A woman named Anna Marie Patterson was determined. She was determined to find out who the fuck was killing the sex workers at the goddamn Union 76 truck stop in Austintown. She was invested because that was her place of work, and she needed job security, and somebody was fucking that up. OG, and she was an OG. She was 27 years old, 6 months pregnant, and bad ass. Oh, yes. Her husband was her manager, aka pimp. He would drop her off at work and shit like an old considerate husband would. Baby, you going in, suck some good dick today, baby. Have a fabulous, profitable day. You don't get your ass out of here. But you know what? If they liked it, I love it. It ain't my business, honey. What you eat don't make me shit. But either way, Sister Girl was out here doing the work, honey. She was turning tricks and asking questions. She was warning the girls to be careful out there, and somebody did not like that shit. You see, Anna told the cops that she was getting threats, but the cops didn't take that shit seriously. And on March 23rd, 1987, our badass Nancy Drew was found dead. Her body had been tossed near a creek by I-71 just north of Cincinnati, Ohio. That's like 200 or so miles from Austintown. And what they found was her face beat the fuck in and tractor-trailer tire tracks right next to her body. Her husband, Pimp, reported her missing on February 14th, 1987, a little bit more than a month earlier. His story to the police was that he dropped her off at a truck stop near Barkeyville, Pennsylvania. She wasn't working at the Austintown truck stop no more because somebody was up there killing the girls and she was trying to play it safe. The only problem is she was changing truck stops and the killer was changing truck stops too. Her husband, Pimp, said he dropped her off and told her to go get that money and he never saw her again. I'm almost say serve his ass right, but old Anne Marie didn't deserve that. She was out here trying to do the work, trying to protect the girls, and lost her life for it. Damn, Anna. August 10th, 1987, an unidentified body was found in Montgomery County in Ohio. This woman had been strangled. They found her laying face down and ass up in the grass on the ramp to I-70. And she had some identifying tattoos and shit. She had a unicorn on her right titty and a rose on her left one. But there was nobody that ever filed a missing persons report, according to the police. So her identity will always be a mystery. And it happened in 1987. I don't see nobody trying to beat this cold case over the head of somebody trying to find her killer. Now we're going to move this thing right on along because I'm not done. Oh no, honey. November 22nd, 1987, in Bedford County, Pennsylvania, 19-year-old LaMonica Cole was what you might call a good girl gone bad. They say she went from the Girl Scouts to bottom bitch over the course of about 2 years. Oh yeah, LaMonica joined the National Host Roll Circuit. She was selling that thing in Florida, Mississippi, North and South Carolina, and Pennsylvania. Oh, LaMonica had a 9-month-old daughter too who rolled along, and just like in the movie, y'all know, it's hard out here for a pimp. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The pimp, the kid, and the girls, they was a little family out here trying to make it. Well, in November of 1987, they just so happened to be in Pennsylvania. They, and by they, I mean LaMonica, was working the truck stop by Breezewood, Pennsylvania on I-76. And one night, they was working that CB radio. They said there was a dude that had been on there all night looking for some cootie cat. Thirsty as fuck. Said that he was in a blue Freightliner truck with stripes and was DTF, right? So LaMonica thinking that this some easy money, she go and holler at the nigga. That's the last time anybody saw her alive. The next day, her pimp goes out looking for her because, her baby's here with her mama. He trying to figure out where the fuck LaMonica at. So he looking for her. Y'all tell me why he found her body froze to death like a motherfucking fish stick with a scarf shoved in her mouth. She had suffocated and frozen to death. Shit, that's a way to go. God damn. Then on March 29th, 1988, The cop said 31-year-old Terry Rourke jumped or was pushed from the cab of an 18-wheeler in Saratoga County, New York. Now, that statement didn't really tell the whole story because, yes, Terry's body left the cab of a truck, but old Terry was dead before she left that cab. You see, somebody pushed her out the door while they were crossing the Mohawk River on I-87. That's a bridge. A motherfucking bridge. Have y'all ever been on a bridge? There is nowhere to hide anything on a bridge, much less a whole goddamn body. Like, this motherfucker clearly didn't give two shits about who saw what. And police looking for Terry's clothing, they found a bag with her stuff in it about a mile up the road from where she was dumped. That sounds kind of like what that killer did to April. Dumped her shit up the road after he dropped her ass off. And the bodies just keep coming. April 19th, 1990, an unidentified woman was found behind the Pilot Travel Center truck stop on I-70 in Licking County, Ohio. She, too, had been beat the fuck in her face. And then there was Portia McDonald. Portia's case is a little different because her husband, Christopher Gibson, he told authorities that he believed that our mayhem maker had killed his wife. Say what, Nate? What you say? Yeah, you heard me. Chris told the authorities that he sold drugs to our mayhem maker and that the mayhem maker hung out with his wife and a couple of other girls that sold a little piece of ass. So Chris happened to be in jail at the time when his wife was found in a field on December 3rd, 1990. But Chris was so sure that it was this nigga, he was so goddamn sure that he wrote a letter to the newspaper telling them that, hey, this man that they say killing all these prostitutes, I think he killed my wife because he was one of the last people that she was seen with. Well, shit, Nate, this is too much. Who the fuck is this nigga? Well, y'all, the guy that they think did all of this killing, our Melanin Mayhem maker for the week, his name is Lonnie Spells. He was born April 13th, 1962, and he's a black man. That's literally the extent of the background information I have on this man. And I'm singing from the same choir book every week, it seems, because on the surface, our mayhem maker presented as a normal, hard-working black man. He had a live-in girlfriend named Letitia Robinson, and together they had a little girl. They had lived in St. Louis till Lonnie got a job doing long-haul trucking, and then they moved to Columbus, Ohio, right? So this nigga Lonnie, he out here killing prostitutes and getting away with it. But you know what the nigga's undoing was? It was him thinking that everybody was like him. You see, for whatever reason, the company that he was driving for, Henderson Trucking, they put a helper in the cab with him. A helper is someone that is going to help with driving to get their freight that they were carrying to the destination on time before time. And you know, with truck drivers, they can only drive for so many hours before they have to rest, right? So by doubling up on the drivers, they can get a long haul load across a longer distance and keep the rig rolling. One of them will rest while the other one is driving. One of them drive, one of them rest, and they just keep passing it off, right? But tell me this, y'all, because maybe it's just me. I know as a Virgo, I can be a little special sometimes. But do y'all get real comfortable with y'all coworkers? Like, for real? I know we all code switch a little bit, but we don't let our hair down around a motherfucker that we just met, that we work with, right? Like, my coworkers don't know that I cuss like a sailor. That's not for them to know. When I am at work, I speak the King's English, right? But when I'm off after 5, you know, motherfucker is a part of my vernacular. You know, every other word might be motherfucker, a la Bernie Mac. I'm just saying. But we don't get comfortable with our coworkers. Like, if you partake of the drugs, you know, you're not going to go snort a line in front of the new dude. And I dare say that that's how most normal human beings would do things. We have to click with a person, right? You got to spend some time with a motherfucker before we let them see our after 5 self, right? Not our boy Lonnie. And maybe that was a good thing. So anyway, Lonnie got a helper, but he's still up to his bullshit. So Lonnie in the cab with the dude, right? And he just started running his mouth. He telling the dude how he like to pick up the hoes that like to smoke crack and suck a little dick. You know what I'm saying? He like to do what he want to do to him and they let him. And he just talking. He getting comfortable as fuck with dude that he just met, right? Lonnie gets so comfortable that he picks up 26-year-old Geneva Davis from a truck stop in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, the helper dude is driving, but come on, man, we talking about a truck cab. 18-wheeler, yes, but it's still a little bitty cab, so it's not but yay big, right? So it ain't like our boy couldn't see Lonnie and what he was doing with that girl in the mirror, or at least hear the sounds of what grown folks is in the back of me doing. Baby, old boy say before that they could get out of Memphis, the chick wasn't moving no more. But he ain't say nothing. They just driving, he driving, he driving and driving. And Lonnie trying to play it like old girl sleep. But dude had done, peeked around a little bit and he could see that her hands and her feet were bound. What? Now, dude said that Lonnie was sleeping back there with the body. Now, mind y'all, they still driving. And at this point, they have left Memphis and they are pulling into Arkansas. And so Lonnie tell the helper when they get to Arkansas, because now you got to explain why this bitch is dead in the back seat. So Lonnie tell, oh boy, this bitch tried to rob me. Yeah, man, she took the gas card and she took $75 off of it and I had to whoop that ass because of that shit. What? So Geneva is dead in the back seat. And they leave Arkansas, headed to Texas. What? Wait a minute. You got to be shit, Big Nay. I promise y'all I ain't. They are leaving Arkansas and they are headed to Texas. And Lonnie is still laying down in the back with that motherfucking body when it's his turn to sleep. Lord, that's diabolical. Jeez Louise. When they get into Texas, he proceeds to toss her body out the truck along the interstate near Greenville, Texas on August 2nd, 1992. Now, the dude, his helper, he ain't saying one word to Lonnie because according to him, he was scared the nigga was gonna kill him too. Now, I can't imagine having to share a vehicle with a motherfucker that's just a little gassy, much less a motherfucker that just killed somebody. Honey, ain't no way in Beyonce's world that I would have kept going with Lonnie after I had confirmation that my spidey senses had not failed me. The motherfuckers was on point and that bitch is dead. Oh no, that's the end of the line for me right there. But old boy clearly ain't me. And so they completed their load and they went on back home. And it was at that point that the helper told the cops what he saw. This was August 10th, 1992. He told the police where the body had been dumped, gave them directions explicitly how to get there. The cops in Texas, they went to where he said to go, and boom, there was a decomposing body, just like the helper said that there would be. Now, y'all, the cops move fast at this point, faster than we would normally expect them when the victim is a black female suspected prostitute, but praise Claude, honey, that they were in the mood to do their damn jobs, because now they got Geneva's body and they sent it back to Memphis for an autopsy, and they start building a case against Lonnie now that they have a witness that's willing to testify. So the Memphis cops, they get with the authorities in Columbus because remember, Lonnie and his family, they live in Columbus, Ohio now. And so together, the Columbus, Ohio police and the Memphis police, they yoked up Lonnie's ass 17 days later on August 27th, 1992. Now, if you know a little bit about the court system, you may have heard the term extradition. And what that means is one place has your body physically, but another place wants your ass. So they file what's called extradition paperwork to have custody of your ass transported to them. And in Lonnie's case, Shelby County, aka Memphis, Tennessee, they had a first-degree murder warrant out for Lonnie's ass. And they were filing the paperwork to have him transferred back to Memphis to answer this charge. Well, Lonnie's punk ass wasn't going to go quietly at all. Oh, no, not our boy Lonnie. He was in court in Columbus on August 28th, 1992, the Franklin County Municipal Court. He was up there telling the judge, talking about, I don't know them people. And I don't know what the fuck they talking about, Judge. I think I'm going to stay right here. Don't extradite my ass nowhere. I don't want to go. Lonnie was like, y'all motherfuckers gonna have to do y'all jobs. I ain't finna make shit easy for you. So the judge in Columbus was like, shh. All right, if you must bring your Tennessee bullshit to Columbus, Ohio, then here's what the fuck I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set your bail at $400,000. So, nigga, you ain't finna go nowhere till the legal system get through doing its thing. And by its thing, I mean have an extradition hearing in Columbus. And at that hearing, the prosecutor has to prove that Lonnie is the motherfucker that they looking for. And this is the shit that he did, which is why we looking for his ass. Now, if they win the extradition hearing, I'm talking about the prosecution now, then they send something off to the governor of the state and ask for a hall pass, basically, to take this motherfucker to the place that they're not trying to go. Now, this whole process could take 90 days or so, depending on how fast or how slow the wheels of justice are moving. And old Lonnie was trying to draw this thing out for as long as possible. The judge set the hearing for the following month on September 25th, 1992, and at this point, Lonnie is 30 years old. Well, on August 30th, 1992, while we still waiting on the extradition hearing, the state of Tennessee is still building their case. So the police, they go and search Lonnie's house where they found women's clothing in all sizes. It didn't belong to his old lady. Oh no. They snatched up his log books and his gas receipts. They were trying to determine if they could put him in the vicinity of other areas where some of these women were being found. Now remember, I told y'all Lonnie got a girlfriend and a baby, and they up in that bitch looking shook. Like, what the fuck is going on here? So that baby mama was like, shit, this shit here done threw me for a loop. Yeah, I bet the fuck it did. Ain't nothing worse than finding out that the man you laying up with, the man that you was in here playing house with, is a killing motherfucker that like to fuck with commercial company while he out on the road. Woo, child. And the FBI, them boys got in on the action too. They went over to where his truck was parked and searched his truck, and they found blood and some more shit in there. Okay, nigga, we got your ass now, it seems. Lonnie was still trying to drag that shit out, but justice delayed is not justice forgotten, nigga. Lonnie did indeed get that ass shipped back to Memphis to answer for Geneva's death, but it was only for Geneva's death. He was charged on November 6, 1992 with voluntary manslaughter, and the nigga sat in jail for almost 2 years before he pled guilty, and he was sentenced to 10 years on February 25th, 1994. Oh, my blood pressure. They gave this nigga 10 motherfucking years, and that's all. And guess what? This happened in 1994, which means February 25th, 2024, this motherfucking year, that made 10 goddamn years. But you also have to remember that this is state time, and them motherfuckers don't do their whole sentence. Oh no, they get time off for good behavior. So, the fuck boy, Lonnie, he actually got out of prison on January 7th of 2000. Let that sink in for a minute. When this nigga was 58 years old, you know, he still had a lot of good killing years left in him. And to just add insult to injury, we don't even have a picture of this motherfucker for me to share with y'all so y'all would know it if you happen to run across this motherfucker here. Like, no prison picture, there's no nothing. I told y'all I was an archaeologist. I have looked high and I have looked low for a picture of this man. When I tell y'all no picture exists, no picture exists. You know the percentage of niggas that get out of prison and go right back to truck driving? It's pretty fucking high. I mean, I know so many people with trucking companies that hire criminals. And on the one hand, I believe that for non-violent criminals, they deserve a second chance. You know, to be fair, there are those violent offenders that really did the work and turned their lives around. Like, I know some killers. You know, don't let the smooth taste fool you. I know all kind of people. It's kind of like Frankie said and set it off. I can't help who I know or the shit that they do. Some of them niggas, they really present as if they have done the work. But I use that word present on purpose. You see, the face that they showed me in the world is one of change, one of remorse, one of dedication to being a non-killer from now on. But at the end of the day, we really don't know. I mean, I'm more open to them one-off killing type of motherfuckers, offering them a second chance. You know, I mean, you killed one person, and maybe there were extenuating circumstances that we can get a benefit of the doubt to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, a motherfucker was shooting at the club, and they fucked around and shot and killed Ray Ray by accident. That nigga is stupid, but he ain't a goddamn serial killer, nor is he suspected of being a nigga that kill motherfuckers by the handful like he eating Lay's potato chips. Can't kill just one, gotta kill everybody. You know, you killed one person and you didn't kill nobody else ever again, then to me you clearly learned that you didn't like killing. For me, it's like eating okra. I tried it once, I didn't like it, never tried it again. I like them type of killers, right? But them niggas that I like killing motherfuckers, them type of niggas, I don't care what nobody say. I told y'all God is still working on me because, baby, I am side-eyeing and full on got my lips twisted up and my eyes cocked because, nope, I don't believe that you have changed. I think that you got caught on a humbug most time because when the last time you heard of a serial killer turning themselves in because their conscience was beating them up? Never. No, them niggas had to be found. And even then, they were screaming to the rooftops that it wasn't them. All that don't do the crime if you can't do the time sounds hollow because this nigga did the time. It's just enough time. And where is he now? Probably on an interstate near somebody that is a potential victim. Free to pick up where he left off to kill sex workers that the law don't care enough about because they are overwhelmed with cases of, shall we say, more palatable victims, right? Because think about this. Since around 1995, there have been several interstate task forces created to fight crimes of truckers who use the interstate as both their hunting and dumping grounds. And that's great. Perfect, wonderful. But what I'm finding is that those authorities continue to profile a bullshit profile of a serial killer. They still talking about it's got to be a white man. So because they're going from a flawed profile, they aren't looking in all the places that they need to look. And if you add to that it don't really seem like the authorities do a lot of sample collecting when it comes to the sex workers. And I'm sure it's due to the nature of their professions, right? But it appears to me that there's a bias when it comes to collecting semen samples. Just because they take dick for a living, that don't mean that in the event of their death that one of them dicks was the actual dick that offed her ass. So just collect the goddamn sperm and run that shit. And I bet you if they did that, they would find DNA samples that match in multiple victims. And yes, the nigga could have been a frequent finder of prostitute pussy. Sure, but most likely if the same DNA is showing up in multiple dead women, that's definitely a nigga you should be talking to see why the fuck he everywhere, or at least why the fuck his baby batter is everywhere a dead motherfucker is. In Lonnie's case, they suspected him of crimes in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Alabama, Illinois, Mississippi, New York, Arkansas, and Tennessee. But they couldn't make the case. So this nigga walked. And right now, this nigga is somewhere out there. And it ain't a goddamn thing we can do about it. Oof. Missing the bigger picture. Not getting the clues together. Let's sigh. There can be so many similarities, but the pieces belong to different puzzles, and the cops are at a disadvantage because figuring out which victims should be matched with which criminal is kind of like trying to braid frog hair. That shit is impossible. Like, even in this instance, 3 of the victims worked at the Union 76 truck stop in Austintown. Okay, that's great. 8 of the victims were missing at least some of their clothing, right? Okay, but every last one of the victims were beaten, strangled, and suffocated. There was no other method of death. So which of those similarities do you pick out and pull, right? The problem, however, is not them not spotting the pattern. The issue is too many truckers participating in the fuckery. Like in Lonnie's case, there was another working girl named Crystal Saddam that was strangled and dumped along the side of the interstate in Delaware. And the authorities were sure that Lonnie was the man, and it turns out he wasn't. It was another trucker that admitted to killing Crystal along with 3 other working girls. So it's kind of sort of the same MO being used by many perpetrators. How the fuck can the cops overcome this? I mean, think about it. The cab of a tractor trailer is like a mobile prison. If a truck driver got a bitch up in there, ain't nothing you can do and nobody normally would know, right? They can pick somebody up in one state, choke them out on the way, don't nobody see it. They transport that body hundreds, if not thousands of miles away, and then just toss the body out the cab in the dark when ain't nobody looking. I talked to a couple of dudes. I told y'all I know people with trucking companies and dudes that do long haul trucking, right? So I talked to a couple of them, and I brought up lot lizards. When I tell you every last one of them just started laughing, you know, they were just like, shit, it come with the territory. Shit, you go to a lot, there's going to be a lot lizard there. And you going to partake sometimes you don't. And then when I hit them with the factoid that there are probably a lot of serial killers that are truck drivers, them niggas still didn't bat an eye. They actually agreed with me that there is a fair amount of violence that happens in and around truck driving areas, truck stops and gas stations against women. Like, what? Somebody please tell me that. Let me tell you something. If somebody tell me that it's a lot of serial killers with podcasts, I'm going to be shocked, right? I'm going to clutch my pearls. If they said that there was a lot of serial rapists that work in insurance, I'm going to have to find me some new work because I'm going to be shocked and I ain't finna stay at a job where they have a whole lot of serial killers or serial rapists. But in the truck driving industry, that's not so uncommon. They're actually kind of nonchalant about the situation, and that's scary as fuck. So how many times have you been driving at night on the interstate and seen 18-wheelers parked along the side of the road or on the exit and ain't never gave it a second thought? Probably every time you've ever seen one. But who really knows what the fuck is going on in them trucks? And y'all, I'm sorry for unlocking a new fear. But hey, I wouldn't be doing my job if I left you feeling all warm and fuzzy after every episode. Next time you see an 18-wheeler, just maybe, you're gonna look to see if anything look like it's a little off. And, here's another little tidbit of tip type information. If your man or other relative or friend is a long haul truck driver, it might be a good idea to go check out his truck from time to time, just to be on the safe side. And if you happen to know a woman that's in the business of providing commercial company, y'all better tell that hoe to watch out. Better start snapping pictures of these dicks and sending it to somebody and letting them know where you at and who you with. I'm just saying. And I'm also just saying that Noir Nation, this has been your 1-calorie slice mayhem maker of the week, a nigga named Lonnie that ain't nothing funny about. A nigga that's out here right now. Somebody's neighbor. And they don't even know who the fuck live next door to them. So since you made it to the end, while you still sitting there trying to digest what the fuck you just heard, go ahead and let your fingers do the talking for you. Go and hit that subscribe, that like, and that share button, right? I don't have no pictures, I told y'all, so the social media gonna be a little dry this week, but that's all right, because we can still talk and kiki and carry on like we do. And please understand that I see y'all. The comments, I see y'all. Y'all make my heart soar, honey. Oh, my Lord, I smile so big, looking like a Cheshire cat around this motherfucker, as I see my numbers on my analytics go up and up and up, because y'all are indeed liking and sharing the podcast, and I love you so much for it. Y'all keep on doing what you're doing, baby, because I love it and I love you. I really hope that you have enjoyed every little piece of this bite-sized serving of Melanin Mayhem today. And you can let me know your thoughts on the social media pages. You can find me Melanin Mayhem Pod or Melanin Mayhem PC or Melanin Mayhem Podcast on Facebook and Twitter. Oh, it ain't Twitter no more. X, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you're feeling like, I'd like to send her an email and tell her something, you can do that too. You can drop me a line over at melaninmayhempodcast@gmail.com. I love, love, love hearing from y'all. So keep talking to me, baby. I'm going to talk right on back. Until next week, my friends, please stay safe. Please stay vigilant. And please stay the fuck out them truck stops. Because remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. It's one love, Noir Nation, and the country girl is out of here. Wow.